Top to bottom. Top to bottom.
It's like this, or tumbling. I'm beautiful water. Everything is not funny. They will play the ball. I play. My neighbor press ball. He goes the ball.
ABC. Nigeria. From top to bottom. Top to bottom. Top to bottom. Top to bottom.
It's like this, or tumbling. I'm beautiful water. Everything is not funny. They will play the ball. I play. My neighbor press ball. He goes the ball.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mazes, okay? And I welcome you to this late night broadcast. Many of you who have reached out to me saying, Mazes, okay, what has happened? In the last couple of days, you haven't broadcasted anything. I said, well, yes, Mazes, okay, is busy as a fox. I'm doing 1001 things at once. But here we are. There are some conversations that cannot wait, really. And that's why, amidst my tight schedules, that I have made out this time for us to look at some of these issues. So some of you that have reached out to me, Papobi Nonye Dot, thank you very much for reaching out. I am indeed fine and well, And I've created some videos actually today, so I'm not letting everything sleep. We have some member of staff that will be let go. Now, also being busy trying to interview new members of staff, or rather staff members. And, in due course, maybe some of these burdens will be less off my shoulders, but I can be here to give us more. There is indeed a lot coming up. A lot. A couple of events to be attended this weekend. Next week, it appears being around Europe in the month of summer, kind of, a lot of you guys want me all over. Guys, I need to start charging money now. They say they want me in Milton Keynes, they want me in London, they want me in Bristol, they want me in Reading. Many of you, I hope you saw the video, the obedient wedding that I attended, the Reading. And to a point, I got carried, I was in the spirit, and I joined Wilson Wanne, who, by the way, is one of the best highlight musicians that I've seen in the diaspora. Really good. Sadly, he hasn't got his conga that I could do justice to that conga, as we did during the time of Igbo Festival and Arts and Cultures event in London. Now, good evening, everyone, once more. My name is Mazes Oka, and if this is the first time you're joining me, please, by all means, click the like button and subscribe to this platform. Have you done that? I'll wait. Thank you for doing that. Now, do the next thing. Share this stream. Can you please, by all means, share? And do one thing more for me. Let's get this evening, let's make it more interactive. Can you please tell me where you are watching from? I have Game with Pete saying good evening, CO, greetings, Papobi Nonye Dot, Alaji Dantata, Dele Ajufo Mazi, or is it Malam? Wallahi, this evening, my name is Malandat. Huh? Because I am a very cosmopolitan Nigerian. My papa, he don't go for Sokoto. Me, when he sell me for Sanu, he don't go from Sokoto to Amoahe. I dey go Amoahe. You know where Amoahe is? Amoahe are there for Abia Sket. They go from that place. They go everywhere. They go Lungulungu. They go Lungulungu. I don't go Kwama to go Netherlands. If he from Netherlands, he don't go Germany. From Germany, he don't come England. Even me, somebody he don't they watch me from Abanisket. Abani. You know Abanisket? Well, he don't that one, the governor, he do something very fine. Pine Airport. Pine shopping mall. Everything Pine. It's nothing like that one where they call me Aikbazu, but when some people they interpret me Aikbazu, now last person, and they behave like that's the person for the southeast. The man, it's like something is not correct. It's not correct because 7 years for Abia Skate, 7 years. Every time I dey come into Abia Skate, I call dirty everywhere. I dey smell what good. Good. A for Abia. Now you be number one for Ibo, but you are the behave somehow. That one. So watching from Kano, Jude Morgan. Oh wow, I love it. See, that's why Delia Jifo. Oh, you're still in the Maryland. I thought you're back to the United Kingdom. Chuck's watching from Northampton. Exactly. It appears that though we don't have many audience, but it appears that many of you, when we do a late night show, are more interactive. And I have Joe Aji watching from Oxfordshire, actually, United Kingdom. And Edwin Nana, Omoye Connor. Wow. New subscriber. Oh, I blow a kiss for you, Omoye. Thank you very much. New subscriber. Very pretty girl. I hope you are the one behind the photos. Papo Bin Nonye Dot. This Papo Bin Nonye Dot is nothing but a domestic terrorist. I know him very well. That man, a domestic terrorist. I tell you, inshallah. I dey look him anytime I catch him because he said if he will buy me fan wine, but he never buy fan wine. That man, he dey promise, he dey fail. So, what of the tapped terrorist call with Yoruba hotel owner? I don't know. We'll get into that now. So quickly, everyone, the conversation this evening is majorly centered around the military telling us that they found those behind or those perpetrators of the Owo killing. When that Owo incident happened, I did ask us, to exercise some patience without really jumping into conclusion who were behind it. Now we know the facts because I believe by training to deal with empirical evidences, empirical facts. Hence, sometimes I do apply a lot of restraint, which many of you don't like because you want me to join the fray and accuse everyone of stuff. But again, when we say, can we apply brakes? Some of you don't like it, but I think it's a question of, eventually we may get to that point of understanding why these things happen. Now, I watched a video, a press conference by the Nigerian army, railing out those behind the Owo attack. At some point, I got confused. You know why I got confused? About 6 weeks ago, or about 5 or 6 weeks ago, we were told that those behind the Owo massacre had been apprehended. And on this platform, I have questioned, why is it that since then, no one had actually told us those behind it? Let us know those behind it. We need to know their names. We need to know their states. Not that we want to profile anyone, but it is good to also begin to situate these crimes and understand the thinking of these crimes. For instance, if someone or if the perpetrators of that dastardly act came from that state, it would have changed the outlook of that crime. You begin to think, what is the motive? But on the point where you do not know why someone committed an act or committed the crime, we may be, we can only be second guessing, right? But in this case, suddenly the army came and now told us, they said they would tell us the names, plural. But I was shocked. When the army started talking, they only mentioned one name, and the video ended. Do you see? Do you think that there is something fishy here? I don't know. I'm not trying to accuse anyone of anything, but let me quickly look for that video, and so that we understand what I am on about. That's today's video. Where is it again? Today's video, sorry. Okay, I will quickly find that video that should be under. Was that okay? Yep, I found the video in question. Let me quickly bring it up to the screen that for us to have an understanding of what I actually mean. Now, pay attention. I wouldn't interrupt this video. Pay attention to what the general will say.
Present to you.
Okay, so pay attention to what the general will say. Let me start that afresh again. Come on, play.
Heartwarmingly present to you that we've done quite a lot, and it's my pleasure to also let you know that starting with our church attack, we have arrested those behind that dastardly act. It was my intention to present them to the public, but of course, because of certain investigations were still carrying out, I had to, on the last count, change my mind in that. Otherwise, I would have brought them here for you to see them. But I'd like to say that in due course, you will see them. Not just those ones, but of course, those who have been at the heart of very daring attacks, those who have turned themselves to men of evil to put our nation under the kind of desperation that we've had in the past few months. And for the purpose of this interaction, I'd like to read out their names. And as I read out their names, let me say that it's not just only the armed forces that were involved. The DSS, the police, and of course, other intelligence agencies were part and parcel of the effort to apprehend these criminals that have put us and did the nation on the toes. On the 7th of August, Idris Ojo, who is 32 years old, was apprehended at Ayetoro in Ondo State. He is one of the high-profile Islamic State in West African province terrorists that escaped from Kuje prison.
Did you? I don't know. I'm not trying to be more picky here, but please pay attention to the following things I'm going to say. I hope you captured that much from the video. He was arrested on the 7th of August. People, today in Nigeria, we are still on the 9th. 7th of August, Sunday. Today is Tuesday, isn't it? So, if he was captured on the 7th of August and he escaped from Kuje prison, or what had already happened before the Kuje prison break? I'm getting confused now. The video, I had looked for an extended version of it. Please, my email is here because I want to, really, you can help me, because in investigative journalism sometimes, you can't do everything all by yourself. If you have the longer version of that video, please call my attention on Twitter at Mazes, okay? Please, if you're not following me on Twitter, by all means do. If you want, you can send me that video to njenjemedia@gmail.com. My attention will be called on that. Or you can send me at mazesoka@gmail.com. Because I want to make sense out of what the Nigerian army, or sorry, the chief of defense staff, because that's what he is, the chief of defense staff, General Irabo, what he just said. I want to make sense of it. How can you capture someone on the 7th, whereas we've been told before that that there were people captured before? Recall, there was a day people woke up in no war. People were just basically everybody jubilating, Okadas riding, doing all manner of somersault or acrobatic whatever, because we thought that that was when these individuals were captured. But here is the general. Again, let me play that part again so that we pay attention to this part, please.
In the past few months. And for the purpose of this interaction, I'd like to read out their names.
Now, and again, I don't want to analyze this frame by frame, because if I do, I find a lot of things that aren't palatable with me. He said that he was going to read out their names, but he read out only one name. Or is it that Arise? I don't know. I don't know Arise to be part of any form of conspiracy, but I don't even want to dwell in the realm of conspiracy. Let me just think that this is part of news, or maybe whoever the videographer or the video editor didn't pay attention in, because if it was me, before the fact that he has said, let me give you their names, on no account should this video have stopped at this point. That video should have stopped the point he has railed out the names of the individual that were involved. However, you know, it will be very amateur for us to come over here and basically rail out these things in this way and just stop by that. What I have done is to now go and dig further. If the audio visual is not telling us the entire story, let us go to the print media and see what we can dig out from the print media. And this is the following that I found from the print media. Let me quickly make this bolder. Here, from the print media here, Njenje Media also published this, but for obvious reason, let me not use Njenje Media here. Let me use a third party, and in this case, that is Tribune. Okay, so let's look at what Tribune wrote about this, because they obviously reported, oh, so much advert. Why? Wallahi. These people, oh no, they do so much advert. Okay, Jesus Christ. Now, because nobody is paying me, so I'm going to be clicking the adverts away. Now, okay, it says here, let me start from the beginning. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, on Tuesday, that is today, said that the military, in collaboration with other sister agencies, security agencies, have arrested the bandits behind the recent deadly attack on the Catholic Church in Ondo State. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So here, according to him, for the purposes of this interaction, I would like to read out exactly what he said before. As I read, I would like to read out their names. As I read out their names, let me say that it is not just the armed forces, but DSS. Obviously, this much you have heard. On the 8th of August, today, Idris Ojo, 37. I would have wanted to know state of origin of Idris Ojo for obvious reasons. Make of my comment whatever you wish to, but that's my view. Was apprehended at Iyatorosi in Odo State. He's one of the high-profile Islamic states in West Africa. So we now know that that act was done by Islamic State. It is now confirmed that that attack occurred as a means of trying to see if they can start inter-religious war in Nigeria. That is confirmed by this. Now, he said alongside with him is one Jimo Ibrahim. So this part was not captured in this video. That's why it's good to, dig in a little bit. Along with him is one Jimo Ibrahim, who is 39 years old, criminal, who was also arrested. Idris Ojo was not done with all the criminal activities which he undertook in the past. He was also planning other deadly attacks, and he was perfecting those plans along with his cronies before he was apprehended. On the 4th of August, again, the military in combined operation with the DSS arrested 4 terrorists at Aika in Oki local government of Kogi. So what we do not know is the second arrest that happened on the 4th has anything to do with the Owo killing. Now, these are it. Okay, so these individuals arrested. These are Idris Omeza, otherwise known as IBN Malik, Momo Abubakar, Aliyu Itopa, and Awal Ominsi. Now, Ominsia is one of the mastermind of June 5th Catholic Church attack in Owo, as well as the attack on the police station in Adivi, also in Kogi, that led to the killing of a policeman, and as well as weapons being carried away, he said. The above 40 people were, no, sorry, dyslexic here. About 40 people were killed when the government stormed the church on the 5th of June. Now, 5th of June, and we were told about a week later when people were jubilating that these people were being apprehended. We have July, and we're now August. We have exactly over 60 days, 64 days or 65 days apparently, that this incident happened. I do not know at this point what to honestly think. Like some of you are doubting the army's story on the comment section. I take it with a pinch of salt. I'm not saying that I'm doubting the army story, but the timelines doesn't add up here. But unless what we were told before, that these individuals were arrested on these, or rather, these individuals were arrested in June, unless that is not the truth. If that be the truth, how come no one showed us these individuals till now? And when these individuals are shown to us, they only captured 2 days ago, and we are told that they broke out of Kuje prison that happened last month after the incident. I don't know. People, you tell me. Owo attack happened on the 5th of June. Kuje prison happened on exactly 1 month, July 5th. So if someone, okay, maybe, I don't know, but could it then be that Owo happened? He was arrested, put in Kuje prison. Then they went and broke the Kuje prison. If that is the sequence, you tell us. But for now, the sequence does not make sense. I hope I'm making, I don't know. I hope I'm not being, I'm not turning into a conspiracy theorist. Yeah? Exactly. So Liz is right. On the 23rd of June, there was a report that some of these responsibles were captured. No name, no photos were given. Then it's in Nigeria. Nigeria is say my cap is distraction. If you don't like my cap, sorry, I cannot help you. I am a dotted malam. So if you don't like my cap, how can you say my cap is distracting you? How can my cap be distracting you? Sorry, I cannot have. In fact, because of if it is a distraction, I'll be wearing it every day now. That is my new outlook. So you can now call me the dotted malam. Anyway, I don't know if so, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I do not know how they come about all these things. But I don't know. Maybe let's see. Maybe within the week we may find out entirely what actually happened. Now, that is on one plan. On another plan, we have the story of many of you have seen these songs being waxed everywhere. These songs are from, we have one from Dede Mabiako. We had another version from, I think that one is Ogene version. And we have, for instance, listen to this one. This is Dede Mabiako's one. This is version 1, right? And this is because I'm getting at something. This is the version that was released, I believe, today. Now, even the same today, there was another version that is the Ogene version.
As a rock, no be your property. As soon as back come money, chop come because live in poverty. That's why even when you know where you see the shout, Emi loco, Emi loco, Emi loco. Baba when nowhere, he dey shout Emi loco, and they shake, make me shake. Baba when nowhere, he dey shout Emi loco. Me I no go suffer, I no go beg for food. I no go suffer again, no. I no go back for light to me and my family. We are obedient. We are obedient. We are obedient. We no go chop a balo. Jaga be a balo. As old as you are, as old as you are. You don't want to rest. Abado, as old as you are, as old as you are. You don't want to rest. Emi loco, Baba we know well. He dey shout Emi loco, and they shake, make me shake. Baba we know well. He dey shout Emi loco.
Now, this is another version, but this is the original version that will lead us to the next story here. This original version is the Sea Dogs, the NAS, National Association of Sea Dogs, and AKA known as the Pirates. You know when the Kongi, that is Professor Soyinka, was a student, he was one of those, or the brain behind the Sea Dogs of the Pirates. And he has since then defended them, and he is still mentor or whatever you call them, or a grand patron of the pirate, right? Now, over the weekend, they sang this song. In their own version, they didn't call him. They said, Baba we know well. They shout a milokon. They didn't call any name. But again, some people felt insulted and they started writing all manner of things and brought it to the attention of Soyinka. Soyinka had then to disown them, saying that it is wrong to do something like this, where, according to him, that they shouldn't be mocking people based on their health. But I think when we get to the meat of the matter, we will now look at where I think Soyinka, some people have responded to him saying, the reason why he started Sea Dog was because he was going against the norm. There were things lecturers that were doing at that time that he didn't like. He got something to fight them when he was still young. Recall, if you haven't read his book, The Man Died. The man died when you stopped speaking truths to power. The man died when, a lot of things will make you kill the man in you to die. And this, some school of thought then argue that what these younger men are doing is the same fire and the same vibrancy that he exhibited when he was within the age of Now, as you know, you have seen this part in the Arise Morning Show this morning. This was then, or rather, this then became an issue of discussion, right? This then became an issue of discussion. And why I want to bring this to our notice is that Soyinka, perhaps his age, as some has accused him, which I will show us, that since he, obviously during the 2015 election, you knew he called President Jonathan hippopotamus, and he never supported Goodluck Jonathan. Those are not, those are, I mean, he has his right. But since then, because obviously, maybe because of his alliance with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he has decided to stick with him on this one. Now, again, my declaration and my stand here is, while this platform does not support violence, if you know you cannot endure the heat in the kitchen, zap out. If you know you're not healthy enough to run a country of over 200 million people, if my hands are shaking and if my legs are shaking, then I should give way for the younger and the vibrant people to take over. But let's listen.
Mocking the flag bearer of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In the video, the group dressed in white and red attire could be heard using the catchphrase Emi Lokan, attributed to Tinubu. In a statement issued on Monday, Soyinka distanced himself from the performance, stating that he is not in any way connected to the feelings the remarks were intended to convey. The Nobel laureate added that it was necessary for him to comment on the video because he is connected with the group, insisting that the video is clearly a new and bizarre development fraught with unpredictable consequences. His statement read in part. In addition, let me make the following cultural affirmation. I have listened to the lyrics of the chant intently, and I'm frankly appalled. I find it distasteful. I belong to a culture where we do not mock physical afflictions or disabilities, very much the contrary. The Yoruba religion indeed designates a deity, Obatala, as a divine protector of the afflicted, no matter the nature of such affliction. This sensibility is ingrained in us from childhood and remains with us all our lives. It operates on the principle of moral frailty, to which all humanity remains vulnerable.
You know, one thing that I must say to us is that I am happy that this video was released not in Bayelsa. Neither was it released in Aba or Onitsha. I am happy that this video was released in Lagos, the heartland of the Yoruba nation. And I'm happy that those who started this are not to be seen as opponents of, or rather political opponent or political wars, because it could have taken a different dimension. But those, their faces are known, their names, because even the Capone issued a statement disagreeing with Soyinka. So if the Capone, who is incidentally from the Southwest, and over 80% of those that you saw there singing are also within the same region, you can see that the young men and women of 2022 are basically standing up and saying, be like this. They want something different. They want something they could call theirs. They want something they can feel, they can touch. They want something that could stand up for them. They want something agile enough. Now tell me, if this was to be Professor Yemi Osibanjo, would we be having this conversation? It probably would have been a healthier, campaign. You can imagine where the other one from the south, Peter Obi would have thrown some statistical figures, and the lawyer would have bended it. You hear some political arguments that is really sweet, based and anchored on issues. In as much as I do not want the campaign to be reduced to hand they shake, leg they shake, somebody pee, no pee, somebody wee, no wee. And some people, they cover their nose even when they are standing back. It's kind of a distraction. It should have been better that this campaign is left on issues. Sadly, we found ourselves where we found ourselves at this moment in time.
Over to you. We discussed this
yesterday.
Like we said yesterday,
said
exactly what the
I thought it was
said.
really in poor taste, the chanting and the songs against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I thought it was in poor taste, and it was very sad. And like Professor Wole Soyinka said there, it is not something right to do.
Yeah.
Campaigning and electioneering about the issues, not about, mocking people based on their health, because anybody can fall sick. And I've had my own challenges with health. People have got their challenges with health. I've got people close to me that were not born with disabilities, but now they're disabled because of old age. And I have to care for them.
Oga, if you are old and it's because of old age, if my dad, before he died, he was incontinent, right? If he was telling me that he wants to be running for president, I would tell him if he's here. I would have thought he doesn't have it together. So no one is mocking old people. I think I disagree, actually. I don't think that it's about the mocking of old people. No one goes, recall before Aton Zeribe died, even all the things Aton Zeribe did and the things that he even did towards the run-up of June 12th election. Even President Badamasi Babangida today, he's in wheelchair bound. You can see him. Most times you look at his foot is swollen, showing you, there are likely issues with kidney or liver. But no one mocks him. Actually, you feel empathy because you can see he is sitting down at home. But the day the same Badamasi Babangida who say he wants to run a country of 200 million, they will remind him that he is incapable of running it now. He may have some 30, 40 years ago when he was younger. Not now. How can, when you see people, all they talk about is recruit 50 million youth and feed them agbado, cassava, and suddenly you go blank. These are, age-related issues that you can spare yourself, even in America. You see how if Joe Biden had not contested to be an American president, that he had gone home, nobody would be making. If Joe Biden falls, people will actually have pity on him. But everyone is expecting Joe Biden to be as smart and jogging like Barack Obama. But the moment he's not doing it and he falls and he wakes up and he stands up and he falls again. Sorry, it comes with the job. If you decide to take the job of a young person and you're there shaking, I struggle. Because if I know, everybody knows their limitation. It's just like, of course, everyone has one or two health challenges. There are areas where you now want to go and say you want to serve in the Nigerian army. No matter how well intended you are, you have to undergo through some health checks. And it's not about whether, do you well, can you pity someone with disability? No, you're going there to fight. You're expected to carry certain ammunition You're expected to be, to be fit to certain level. Therefore, it is not expect. I don't know how else to say this, because the whole thing, the whole defense, is that nobody is actually talking on the real issue. The real issue here is, just like the other day, he saw when Atiku came back from Dubai. He looked at his tummy, and I tweeted. I thought, is Atiku 9 months pregnant? If Atiku was in his house, who cares? But the moment he comes, just like Naba, Gali Naba, you saw him the other day in London. He's now, just shaking, trying to walk with the grandchild. No one says anything. You can basically say, no, wow, so this man, if they had fixed our health, whatever. But the moment Gali Naba will say he wants to run for the president of Nigeria, with that way he's walking, about now, how can you say people are laughing? Nobody is laughing. You bring madness to the village square, then the children will play gong for you. That's all. That's all I can say.
So I don't believe it's right to say, oh, somebody's hands are shaking, the legs are shaking. No. But it goes back to the issue like I stated yesterday. Once people put themselves up for positions,
exactly,
electoral positions, they should also, as a result of public accountability, let people know what is happening as regards their health. People vote for you either with or without your health. We had an American president that was on a wheelchair, but it's still one of the most popular presidents.
FDR.
FDR.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
He had polio, and he was, what is it called? He couldn't move around. And nobody inspired America. In fact, FDR is the first, correct me if I'm wrong, or the only American president to have won 3 terms.
Yes.
3 terms.
He's a legend.
He's a legend. And he had polio. And he didn't only do it, he was in charge during the war. It was said that when Pearl Harbor was bombed on the 7th of December, FDR tried to stand up and say, if I can rise, America will rise. And he inspired his nation. But political aspirants or candidates need to tell us, okay, I'm dealing with this. But for you to now come out singing a song and mocking somebody for their health, I just think it's in poor taste. And that's why Professor Oleshika talked about, the Yoruba, what is it called, religious beliefs about it, or Batala being the protector of it.
Yes.
He also further in that segment stated the story of a friend of his that's got Parkinson, right? And he moved with them. And I've got a lot of friends that are dear to me that are ill, but it doesn't change anything about them. So mocking people.
Right. I disagree with you. It changes a lot about it. Recall, I don't know many of you watching me will be old enough to recall Yasser Arafat. Yasser Arafat, the PLO leader, the leader of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, or whatever it was called, who eventually died in France. At some point, Arafat, he had to step down. Because everybody knew a world leader he was, when the conflict was, when they were heading into Sweden or Norway, going for peace talks, doing X, doing Z. But at some point, yes, Arafat was like this every time you see him. He couldn't, at that point, continue to be the leader of the Palestinian people. This one, you haven't even gotten to the table. You haven't even gotten to the job. For now, you are basically, the election hasn't started. You're basically, in I don't know, maybe my view doesn't count, but if my view does, I would have wanted a situation where the man in question would have sat at home and become the kingmaker. That is what would have fitted him most. If you can wind back the clock, this election would have been much sweeter and without any rancor. If it was a very healthy and vibrant and intellectual mobile, if I may borrow the words of Dino Melai, intellectually mobile human being like Professor Yemi Osibanjo, the whole South would be divided by now. The whole nation would be divided. Nobody, because it would have been on issues. We know what the man was able to do. We know what he was able to do. It's just like when Yaradua was sick, everybody empathized with him until they started playing hanky-panky with it. And the people are wondering, who is packaging all this nonsense? But here we are. Well, we still have 8 months, I'll be 7 months to go. This election go hard too. 8 months, I'll be 6 months to go now, isn't it? Don't worry. We're here. We know who will survive the rigor of this election and all the things, all the things happening. Delia Jufo he says, don't defend rubbish. The issue of Roosevelt cannot be linked to Tinubu FDR. FDR was of a French sound mind, intellect, and vibrant. Tinubu is obviously sick. Well, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a medical doctor, but all I can tell you that for some reason Nigeria like packaging nonsense, and they want to shove the throat of electorate. What is that? It's just like before Aton Zeribe died, that he was basically immobile, that someone would be presenting him to be the governor of Imo State. That would be intellectually insulting. We've seen it. Bad market. We warned you in the first time. Sometimes I think Nigeria should be listening to certain people now. The same people that warned you in 2015, you called them ethnic bigot. They warned you again in 2019, you called them name. Now, the same thing they warned you, you are looking at it korokoro. Don't worry. The same people are warning you now. If you don't know what is going to happen, you see it korokoro, and sadly, not that anyone is immune to, but probably they are more immune to certain things. We'll see it. It go clear for our eye. When who said this who said this? One pastor said over the weekend, be very careful when men pay you for you to vote for them. Be very, very careful, because they will never, ever work for you. A word they say is enough for the wise. Now, I'll be concluding with the following story. You recall that Innoson, within the week, gave a car to one man. Is a heartwarming story, and hence I want to share that story with us. Innoson gave this car to this man. Look at it. Innoson gave this car to this man. Now, by name, that happened on about 3 weeks ago. Innoson Vehicle Manufacturing Limited, that is in the person of Chief Innoson Chukwuma Ifediaso, gave out a brand new IVM G5. Wow. G5 is one of the good machines that he produces, to Mr. Ikechukwu Osakwe, popularly known as Osabros, who prophesies. The reason why that the guy prophesied in 1979. Many of you watching now weren't born then. That he would be the first man in Africa to manufacture vehicles and sell to other African countries. Wow. 1979, when Innoson hasn't even started importing motorcycles. This guy has already prophesied that he would eventually manufacture and sell vehicles across Africa. The prophecy was given at the period the then Innoson could not boast of a car, talk less of manufacturing one. According to Chukwuma, during the presentation of the car, he recalled on how Mr. Ikechukwu Osakwe, all the way from Kano, blocked him at the front of his house early in the morning and told him he has a message for him. Mr. Osakwe went on to narrate a dream he had about him. How he saw in the said dream his vehicle manufacturing company known as CAP PLC. He told me that CAP means Chukwuma Automobile Production. Wow. Immediately he said that. I laughed him to scorn and left him immediately. It does happen. Some people have walked up to me and said some things that I've sorry, I wouldn't repeat them on air. But I've really, people, I must tell you, I've really laughed it off. Even and called my son certain names that relate to those prophecies. If the pastors or whoever is watching, I'm not joking about it, but I that's how I felt. Now, after some years, when I established the first motorcycle assembly plant, he came back again to remind me of that dream again and told me that I would still manufacture vehicle. Of a truth, it was after I had established my vehicle manufacturing plant that I realized that his prophecy was real. This week, I signed an MOU with Taxi Plus all the way from Mali to supply 400 vehicles to Mali. And I then recall that Mr. Ikechukwu Osakwe prophesied as far back as 1979 that I will be the first indigenous vehicle manufacturing company to sell cars to other African countries. I shed tears of joy and I said, this can only be the hands of God. Obviously, Innoson eventually called in, and the presentation of that vehicle was witnessed by members of Osakwe family and his relative. The presentation was done by Chief Gabriel Chukuma, that is Gabros, immediate elder brother to Innoson. And both of them look alike, by the way. That is the man you can see the Gabros, but they look alike. If you had visited this house, as I have, that is a massive, when I say massive, that compound is so massive. And it's good to know where you start, and it's good to recognize those that probably have aided you. And some of you are demanding to join and probably speak on the issue of Woloshenka. I've shared the link in the comment section, but we would endeavor not to this stream to exceed 1 hour or maximum 1 hour 10 minutes. So if you are very quick to come in, we might take you one or two people before we call it a day. So like I said, when we look at all these things happening in Nigeria, and when we look at the Milocon, the Woloshenka thing, saying this, and people acting the other way, I think if we know, if Nigerian actually wants to be a good place, having witnessed what happened with Yaradua and having witnessed what happened with Buhari, it will not be out of place if Nigerians began to demand that anyone who would occupy the highest office in the land and also in the state, that they submit an independent, medical record to know what the people will be expecting. Because recall, there was a time a governor in Taraba State was involved in an aircraft that he was flying. I think he was about landing in Yola. And that aircraft, something happened. The propeller aircraft, crashed. Eventually, he was taken out, and even when he was, I think the thing affected his brain. Yet they were trying to kind of hide. And I think Sahara Reporters sometime at that point released a video. And when people were greeting the man was absent-minded. Yet that state, they were signing budget. A lot of contracts were being awarded. That is Nigeria for you. I have Dele Ajufo joining me now. Dele, please connect your audio with your so that you can join me. You haven't connected your mic. If you connect your mic, it will allow you to come in. Please connect your mic. Someone said, brother, there is info I have for someone that I needed you to pass that person. Don't want to make it public. Well, you can send me an email. If you do send me an email, that's my email, or you can follow me on Twitter And you can, I think my Twitter inbox is open. You follow me on Twitter, you can drop that on Twitter. If you do on Twitter, I think I probably use Twitter more than I use my email. Delhi, you still haven't connected with your audio, and hence is not allowing you to come in. You haven't, if you're listening to me, you haven't connected to your audio. That's not allowing you. So if you want to contact me, if you want to connect with me, that's the best way you can do that. Now, if some of you want to, if you want to call by phone, mobile, WhatsApp calls only, you can as well use the number on the screen. That is a Nigerian, that is Airtel, +234 708 004 2206. We can use that number as well to call. Well, let's make it snappy. So Delhi, you might try for the last time before I call it a day. Let's see if it's gonna work. But if your audio is not connecting, I don't know what then to do. But for me personally, I think I don't know what you think, but I think I like these songs. I like these songs. I like the Emiloko songs because some of them are really very, very funny. Some of the Emiloko, but the Nigerian problem can be summarized by what Farotimi said. And let's have a listen to what Farotimi said here.
And you see poverty in Nigeria today, you think it's by accident. It's not by accident. It is by design. Poverty and ignorance are important ingredients in the maintenance of feudal orders. The more you know, the more questions you would ask. And the richer you are, the more time you have on your hand to think. Your capacity to use your brain is a challenge to feudalism. That is why you have weaponized ignorance chasing Nigerians around. The poverty you also see is by design. Because the poorer you are, the less likely that you are going to ask questions of those who rule you. So you have this idea of feudalism that started as part of a culture, but that has transcended that culture. It used to be that when you're talking feudalism, people are waiting to see an emir, or they are waiting to see a sultan or an alkali. But the reality is that that idea, and that's where we come back to the ideas again, that idea is like a virus. It has dumped host. Where it used to exist only within the Fulani culture, it now exists in each and every Nigerian culture. Your governors are not unlike emirs. The president is not unlike the sultan. The government does not exist for all. It exists for a class. Feudalism does not work on the basis of the rule of law, on the of impunity, which means that somebody somewhere must to the rule apply and to whom it wouldn't apply, to whom the laws should apply and who should be above the law. So you find very quickly that it is impossible to build a nation because nations thrive on citizenship. Citizenship comes only when there is equality and the law is ruling. And it is only when you have citizens that you are likely to ever have patriots. So you have a country, yes, but you don't have citizens. You have owners in place of rulers, and there are definitely no leaders. When you speak to leadership, you're talking about vision. It means that the person can close their eyes, see their goal, even with their eyes closed. The Nigerian is forced to engage Nigeria as a tribesman. You are either an Igbo, a Yoruba, an Ijo, a Kalabari, a Fulani, and you are some of that or that. Nobody ever treats you as a Nigerian and a human being. The only reason that has not happened is because of the need to preserve the capacity to apply unfair advantages. So you can't have an identikit of a Nigerian. So those of us who believe that this country can be better, first thing first, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. It doesn't say love your neighbor more than yourself. Let's be.
You see, that's why I am Malam .31. because we must all love our neighbors as ourselves, but not to love your neighbor more than yourself, because that will be suicidal. Now, before I let us go, many of you may have also seen videos of PVCs being burned. I have my first color here. Many of you may have also seen the videos of PVC being thrown away. I don't think you have seen this one, because this is the mother of all the PVC nonsense we have seen. Look at it. Look at it. In Ghana Must Gold, we have PVCs that people spend time, man hours, just dumped like this. You tell me there is no orchestrated plan for certain people to ensure that this 2023 doesn't work, because they probably know that certain people are likely to get people to work. So who am I speaking to? Caller on the line?
Yes, Mr. Ezoke. Good evening from here.
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead. Who am I speaking to?
Please, you're speaking to Engineer Eliber calling from England. Please, I would like to speak to you when you're offline, please. There's something I would like to tell you.
So,
if it's gonna be possible.
Well, we can do that tomorrow. If it's not about this.
Fine. Can I reach you with this number?
Yes, you can reach me with this number.
Okay, that's fine. All right, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. So that's it. See the PVC collections or the PVC destructions that we've seen in River State, we've seen in Lagos by the expressway. Now this particular one, I don't honestly. Sometimes one can only be speechless by the level of things we see. But what can we do? We keep talking. As my elders will say, on that note, I will say good night, everyone, and I am still Moses. Okay.
Yeah, I still remain your one and only. Harry B, the oldest rapper, the Western master. Hit it. Adam obedient, Adam obedient. He the obedient. Come out with your full chest in confidence. No matter what they do, you no go relent. Adam obedient, Adam obedient. He the obedient. Come out with your full chest in confidence. No matter what they do, you no go relent. Enough is enough, and you go tired. All the shady politicians are all getting fired. PVC, that's the antidote. And you get your off as a come 2022. Digital PVC, when they call them all. You ain't talking P2B, because I'm a giri, we go sanitize them. At the end of the day, we go analyze them. Adam obedient. He the obedient. Come out with your full chest in confidence. No matter what they do, you no go relent.
ABC, Nigeria, from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom.
This one Nigeria is all tumbling. Everything is not funny. They will play before. I play.